Hello students, so welcome again. After a long period we are going to discuss about this chapter 7 plant physiology, that is the physiology of flowering. So this when we discuss about the flowering is formed when the reproduction is been formed. So reproduction, it is an important features of living beings. It denotes the production of young ones like parents ones. So there are two mode of reproduction in plants. We can say one is asexual one and the sexual ones naturally. So in higher plants, sexual reproduction is accomplished by development of a specialized structure called as a flower. So flowering plants produces, or we can say develop flowers at least once in the lifetime, called we can say as a uh, annual one. Okay, or develop flowers in every year, that is a perennial one. So during flower formation there is a transition from the vegetative growth to the reproductive growth. Okay, so basically what happens, this vegetative shoot tips becomes modified into reproductive shoot, that is a flower. So shoot develops into sepals, petals, stamens and carpels in place of leaves. So flowering thus is an we can say important phase of life cycle where several changes in the physiology of plant are involved. So the plant must attain a specific state of ripening to respond before it flowers. Once this stage is reached, the plant is induced to produce flowers. So there are phases, we can say the induction of flowers. Okay, uh, so the phase induction of flowering impulse, uh, whereby the other cells of shoot meristematic, instead of giving rise to the leaves, switch or turn towards the formation of floral organs. Okay, so during the phase of flower induction, plant is subjected to various external conditions like light, temperature, then water or the chemicals, etc., for a specific period of time. So these time intervals is referred as the induction period, and the external conditions are inductive conditions. Okay, so there are two main inductive conditions that induce flowering, that is we can say light and the temperature. So the flowering responses to day length is called the photoperiodism, while the low temperature treatment is known as a we can say vernalizations. Okay, so we'll discuss about the photoperiodism. So this photoperiodism, the quality and the intensity of light have profound effect or influence of variety of physiological process like photosynthesis. So the photosynthesis, or we can say growth and the development, etc. So similarly, the length of a daylight period, that is the duration of light, has been found to make marked influence on plant, particularly we can say flowering. Okay, so the role of light is very important for the growth and development of plants, where the intensity of and the quality of light play important role. So the flowering in plant depends on the day length or duration or photoperiod uh, received by them. So the response of plant in this length of is daily, we can say day length, or the photoperiod is known as the photoperiodisms. Okay, so when we discuss about, so first of all, this photoperiodism concept or this word was determines whether the plant will switch to flowering formation or not. So this transformation of, can say transition from vegetative phase to the flowering phase is decided by the photoperiodism. So this phenomenon of this word, we can say, first was developed by discovered by Granner and Allard in 1920, in which we can say plant they have studied in tobacco and the soybean plant. Okay, so according to the definition, when we say the relative favorable length of day and light is called the photoperiod. Okay, so the response of plant to favorable photoperiod in initiation of flowering is known as a photoperiodisms. Okay. So when we discuss about the classification of plants on the basis of photoperiod required for the flowering, so on this basis of the length of photoperiod requirement to induce the flowering in plants, they are classified into three main categories. Okay, so the first is the short day plants, okay, or we can say SDPS, okay, and the second is the long day plants or LDPS, and the third is the day neutral plants or NDPS. Okay. So the first we'll discuss, that is the short day plants. So this short day plants, it has some important characters we'll discuss. So these plants flower in short day conditions. Okay, so the daylight is less than a critical period. Usually you can say less than 12 hours is required for initiations of flowering in such plants, and hence they are known as the short day plants. That is, we can say daylight differs from species to species in these conditions. So in this short day plants, actually not the daylight period but the length of night period, or the we can say dark period, is critical, and hence the short day plants are actually long night plants. Okay, so this short day plants will not flower if conditions that if the continuous dark period is interrupted even by the shortest flash of light. So these plants require relatively long period and darkness for flowering. Okay, so the continuous darkness is needed for flowering. If any during this dark period any flashlight is formed in the starting time or at the end of this darkness time, then the flowering will not be formed. That is known as the interruption of light period between this. So this condition is known as short day plants. This short day plants light is just useful for photosynthesis. For example, examples of plants are there: the rice, soybean, sugarcane, tobacco, potato, strawberry. Then this salvia, cosmos, euphorbia, balsam is there. Okay, bryophyllum is there. So these are the examples. So thank you very much.